Hi everyone, and welcome to our Now What video series for families with children newly diagnosed with autism. I'm Danielle and I'm a social worker here at Autism Ontario, and today I'm going to provide some information about how to talk about autism. We're going to discuss how to talk about autism with your child, your family, school or daycare, and with your larger community. There are several things to consider when talking to your child about their autism diagnosis and what it means. Will your child understand the diagnosis? Do they already know what autism is? What will the impact be on you as the parent or caregiver? Can you cope with the stress of this conversation? It won't be easy. Do you have a support system that can help you and be there for you? How do you want to explain autism? What words do you want to use? Each family talks about autism differently. For more information, you can look at the Autism Ontario language statement available on the Talking About Autism resource list linked below. This is just the beginning. Your child is going to have questions as they develop and grow and learn about their place in the world. It can be helpful to access resources and information on autism over the lifespan to be prepared for these questions. These questions can help guide your decision making, but it's critical to remember that each autistic person is unique, and it's a spectrum of needs and abilities. You know your child best, so you know if they're ready. We have to remember that even if you don't disclose, children and teens may find out anyways. Young children may notice that their parents are going to a lot of appointments, or fighting a lot, or sad a lot, and they will know that something is making you upset, even if they don't know why. Sometimes teens and adults will already know. They'll have watched a show or read a book and self-identified. Your child may feel disappointed or shocked if, as a parent, you don't tell them. Parents and caregivers always want the best for their children, but it can be hard for a child or teen to understand why this information may have been kept from them. And lastly, when your child does find out, they may feel that the reason that you didn't tell them is because there's something wrong with them. Something so wrong that you wouldn't want to tell them or talk about it. We know this isn't the case, but autistic children and youth may struggle to understand your perspective and motivations. They may not understand why you wouldn't want to tell them. Experts recommend that parents talk to their children about autism, taking into account the child's needs and developmental capacity. Self-identification leads to a positive view of being autistic. An improved self-concept and understanding of what one's needs. This includes feeling less like it's a personal difficulty or challenge, or it's their fault, and more of an understanding that things may be out of their control, and an increased likelihood of finding a sense of community. Tips for disclosure. Introduce autism at your child's developmental level and add information over time. As a parent, you know your child best, and you can best judge how much they will be able to understand at this time. If you have questions, you can connect with your child's pediatrician or other support professional about your child's receptive language skills. We're going to talk a bit about the resources that you can use to help explain what autism is at your child's level. Identify that people have different strengths. Explain that people's brains work differently, and that means that some people are great at things that others may struggle with. They may know other kids who are good artists or athletes, and they may know other kids who are good friends and really kind. Validate their feelings. Let them know it's okay to feel sad or confused or even a little bit angry. These are normal emotions to big news. Encourage curiosity. This can be in the form of role models, like explaining to them that there are lots of famous people with autism. For example, if they like Pokemon, it might be helpful to let them know that Pokemon was created by an autistic person. This also means encouraging them to learn about autism and neurodiversity, ask questions, and think about what it will mean to them. And lastly, be positive. Choose a time that feels right for your family, when both you and your child are having a good day. You both need to be in an emotional place where you're ready to talk and to listen. Another option, if you want support with this discussion, is to have a social worker or counselor join you. This can help navigate your child's feelings and offer some help in the moment if you need it. How to talk about autism. There's a few different children's books that might be really helpful for you, and they are listed on your additional resource list. There's some parenting books, some videos, and there's also foundational family services that might be helpful, such as social groups that talk about new diagnosis and how to discuss autism. Like I said, all of these resources are listed on your Talking About Autism resource list. Siblings have a unique experience because they likely already have a sense that they are different from their brother or sister with autism. Likely, their siblings go to more appointments than they do, might have behaviors or mannerisms that are different from theirs, and they might feel sad or angry that their sibling doesn't play with them the way other kids do. Here at Autism Ontario, we have monthly webinars that introduce what autism is and how Autism Ontario can support your family. It can be helpful for extended family members to attend if they're looking for more information. When we start to look at disclosing to people outside of your immediate family, there are many considerations to think about. What would be helpful about disclosing? What may be unhelpful about disclosing? And what information would you need to provide to ensure that the person is better able to support your child? Telling friends and family about your child's autism diagnosis can be challenging and stressful. There are many reasons that this disclosure can feel particularly challenging. Your feelings and beliefs, cultural background, and your own grief process may all play a role. You might worry that some people might understand what autism is, and it can be frustrating to hear people say things like, but he doesn't look autistic. But the people closest to you are an important support system for you and your child, so getting them on board is worth the effort. We recently put out a resource called the Caring for the Caregiver Guide, and it's linked on your Talking About Autism resource. Here's a glimpse into that guide, and it specifically talks about the importance of seeking support and connection for caregivers. There's a common phrase that says it takes a village to raise a child, and in order for that village to fully support you, they need to know what's going on. If you need more information on autism, again, Autism Ontario runs bi-monthly webinars that might be helpful for your extended family. Next, I want to talk briefly about disclosing an autism diagnosis to your school or daycare. Your team at school may include different professionals, including but not limited to their teachers. By disclosing the autism diagnosis, your school team can begin to request the appropriate supports that your child might benefit from. It also can support the advocacy process, such as implementing an individual education plan, IEP, or requesting an identification, placement, and review committee, an IPRC. In the summer of 2022, Autism Ontario did a webinar on school teams. If you're looking for more information on school processes and advocacy, it's linked to your Talking About Autism resource list below. Both parents of children with autism and autistic teens report reluctance to disclose their diagnosis in social settings because they're worried about stigmatization. Recreation programs and camps are sometimes high-stress situations for autistic kids because the social demands are as high as school, but without the structure and predictability. Depending on your child's needs, you may or may not choose to disclose, depending on the considerations we talked about a few slides ago. Specifically, what would be helpful or unhelpful about disclosing. Alternately, when it comes to healthcare providers and professional services, it's best to disclose your child's diagnosis to ensure that the services are appropriate and that you receive effective care. Raising a child with autism can be stressful, and parents with autistic children report higher levels of mental health concerns than parents of neurotypical children. It can be frustrating to navigate the system and may feel like you're not doing enough, but you are. There are so many ways to access support. One way to get support is through a support group designed for caregivers. Autism Ontario runs two different types of programs. There are formal, facilitated, multi-week groups that focus on building coping skills. These are called CARES groups, and they run regularly throughout the year. And there are also more casual drop-in type groups called Awesome Moms, Rad Dads, and the Black Caregiver Circle. Both groups are shown on our events page of the website when they are available, and the link is on our Talking About Autism resource list. I hope this video gave you some information on how to talk about autism. If you're looking for more information, all the different links are available on the Talking About Autism resource document linked below, and they will take you directly to the program websites. For any other concerns, you can contact us here at Autism Ontario.